Hey folks, welcome back to another video. I thought I'd do the video in a different spot today, just to mix it up a bit. Today's video is all about what I eat on like mountain leader expeditions. That's 1 night, 2 nights, that kind of thing. I'm not going to go through every last thing that I eat and show you, because I haven't got every last thing from the supermarket that I'd normally eat on a night out or a couple of nights out, but we'll have a quick chat through it and I'll talk about sort of the main items that I eat. Before that though, if you follow us on Insta, you'll have seen this, and if you don't, why not? This thing is a blast. I bought it, I've chatted about these things before, I bought it to try and get to the crag in a slightly more environmentally friendly way, and I've had a go on it. It's a practice, and I've had a go on it in terms of I have been to the crag on it as well, made it to the Vivian Quarry and back. It's flipping right good laugh. I'm guaranteed to do a video on it in a not too distant future, but that's just waffle, and sometimes I get grief for waffle, so I'm going to cut to the chase and get on with it. Breakfast, lunch and dinner, they're the main things that we need to think about, aren't they, when we're eating all the time, but in terms of this expedition stuff that I'm talking about. How many calories do you need a day? That's probably the kind of easiest way to break this down. Up until a few years ago, I didn't really know how many calories I needed per day to kind of maintain my weight, and different calories will either lose you weight, maintain weight, or gain you weight in a really simplistic way. And do you know how many you need? Do you work off average figures? Probably not, because actually when we're out in the mountains we're burning more than average, aren't we? One, because of doing more exercise, but two, potentially it's quite cold and stuff and we burn more energy trying to keep warm. It was a bit of a revelation to me, realising how much I need to eat. It came to a head for me because of the training for climbing, and feeling really weak after training, and obviously you should feel pretty worked after a good training session, but I was like feeling like properly wiped, and someone suggested just looking at what I eat purely in a maths way of calories in, calories out, which, like I say, is very simplistic, but it was kind of key for me, and I just found I was completely under fueling myself. So every single day, without fail, literally without fail, for at least 2 years now, I use this app here, which is MyFitnessPal. Hopefully that'll focus on that. And it's a really easy way of typing in your food and stuff, and you just have a breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, that kind of thing. It's super simple to add stuff. You can even just scan a barcode, even of random stuff like the camping food is on there, so your Weetabix are on there, all that kind of stuff, and once it's in, it's in. So you can keep track of what you eat, and also it'll work out what your target is as well for you. It's a free app. You can pay to get a posher version of it, but I don't, just use the free app. But that's fundamental to working out what you need to eat when you're out on your mountain leader expedition or any other overnight camping trip or whatever. One night, does it matter if you don't kind of get enough fuel? Maybe not. The trouble is on the mountain leader, especially on the assessment, is you are being tested in inverted commas, because we try not to make it quite like a test, but you are getting tested, so you do need to be on top form, and if you are lacking in fuel, then your mental capacity drops, you haven't got as much energy in your legs to keep plodding on and all that kind of stuff, so it might well add to the stress levels. Certainly if you're out for a couple of nights, I think it really does start to matter more then. It's not just the maths of calories though, is it? Food is kind of a motivational tool, and I'm not a big fan of food in general. I eat because I have to eat. I like my treats and things, but in terms of main meals and things, if I could take a tablet, I'd be all over that. So I don't get particularly motivated by food, but a lot of people do. So when I did that chat about stoves the other day, I'm all about the little mug, light as possible, really, within reason. Other people are happy to take a heavier stove because it allows them to cook a better meal, which keeps them happier. It's finding what works for you, isn't it? And that's the same with the food that I'll chat about in a second. It works for me and it might work for you, but if you've been doing a lot of this, you'll have already worked out what you like, but it's always nice to share ideas, isn't it? So when you're watching this, put in the comments what works for you, little tips and tricks and things like that. We learn off each other. One of the best tips I ever learned was off a Duke of Edinburgh group. I used to do loads of that kind of work. This one particular group were well on it with the food, not the usual pot noodle kind of thing or anything like that. What they had was like the Uncle Ben's microwave packets of rice. Other brands are available, and we also don't carry a microwave. No, but what you can do is you can cut a little corner off and put a few spoonfuls of water in, then you just boil it in a bag and it's ready to go. And you can get nice versions with, you know, some vegetables cut up in there and stuff to make it a bit more interesting than just rice. Then you add whatever else you want. So tricks like that. The same group actually, they're using tranches, and in the morning when they're boiling their water to purify it and stuff, they're warming their pan of chocolate up on the top of that, and that was great. I think it's probably Duke of Edinburgh when I discovered those little Oats So Simple packets as well. Well, I don't think it's when I discovered those packets. It's when I discovered they're like waterproof, the packets. So basically, you rip them open and you pour a bit of water in there, stir it, leave it for a minute, and then you don't have any porridge to wash up. It's just in the packet, and you can dispose of the packet appropriately. So these little tips that we share are super useful, I reckon. But breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Let's start with breakfast. Seems like an obvious place to go. These are the ones that I use. They're Blah brand, right? I'll put some links to all these things I mentioned in the description below. But you can buy these in a few shops. They're tasty. I like porridge, right? And this is another top tip. You can try and copy what I do, and that's great. But if you don't like porridge, don't buy porridge. I said that to Duke of Edinburgh group once as well. Suggest all these things, and then on the actual expedition, I went over in the morning, chat to them, and just said, "Oh, what are you eating for breakfast?" And they're like, "Oh, just having a cup of tea." What are you actually going to eat? What have you got for breakfast? Oh, we've got porridge, but I don't like porridge, so I'm not going to eat it. So there's no point taking something that I like if you don't like it. But I really like these. This is porridge, and it's got apple and cinnamon in it. So I've banged on about calories quite a lot. This packet here, just made up with hot water, is 614 calories. So that's a decent breakfast. They're just so simple, aren't they? You open it up, you add the hot water, it hydrates itself, it's nice and tasty, like I say, and filling, so you're good to go. I am a big fan of having something hot in the morning, even if you're gonna have whatever cereal bar type things or Cliff bars or something like that. Just having that hot cup of tea, coffee, hot chocolate, something like that, it just gets your body up to like operating temperature. Because when we're camping out overnight, you're in a nice warm sleeping bag and stuff, but often the body temperature can drop a bit. So I find it just picks you up a bit in the morning. Again, you'll find what you like to do yourself through experience, but I think at least a hot drink is really important. What I tend to do is not have a hot drink, but I'm having a hot breakfast. Like I say, 614 calories, that's a pretty good start to my day. They're pretty filling, these. I can only just finish one, to be honest. They're good, those. Lunch. Some of my other videos, I've banged on about the HUEL before. Human fuel is what it stands for. That's the name. It's a blend of all sorts: pea protein, ground flaxseed, rice protein, cocoa powder, because this is the chocolate one, and loads of other stuff. And it's packed with vitamins and minerals. I'm not vegetarian, but it's a vegetarian thing. It's just a really easy way of getting, again, a good load of calories that I like the taste of as well. The chocolate one for me is the one to go for. I like the vanilla as well, but the chocolate's the best one. It depends quite how you make it up with the scoops. The newer packets come with a different size scoop than the old one, but basically I make this up to give myself 500 calories when made with water. So I don't have to take any milk with me. When I'm at home, I have this with milk, and it's a bit tastier, but water is just fine for me. So that's like 3 scoops. So it's not like a massive amount. It's just a small amount of powder, really, that you can put in one of those like resealable bags. And then at lunchtime, you just make sure you've got enough water. I think it's like, for me, I have about 500 millilitres of water with that. So I make sure I've got 500 millilitres of water in my Nalgene. I chuck that HUEL in, give it a really good shake, and that gets rid of the lumps and everything. And you just drink it, and you've got 500 tasty calories. So that's great. That is a good lunch. When you think about what a sandwich has and stuff like that, it's not that many. You could absolutely make that up and sort of sip it through the day or something, and just keep it ticking over rather than having it all at once. But I just tend to go for it in a wanna, more or less. So that's a good solid lunch there. And then dinner, these are the ones that I like. These Expedition Foods, I really like these, right? They are expensive. as those other two things are kind of expensive compared to whatever else you might take. They are on the pricier side. But as you might have seen there, 800 calories. This one's chili con carne with rice. Again, just add your hot water, no washing up, loads of calories, and it's tasty as well. So what have we got? We've got 8, 13, plus that, it brings us up to around about 2,000 calories. So then you top it up with snacks and stuff, don't you? And what snacks you have depends on what you like. It's entirely up to you, whether that's, dried apricots, whether it's packets of Oreos, whether it's bits of flapjack, all sorts of options, isn't there? But I think if you look after those main 3 areas of breakfast, lunch and dinner, then you can just top the rest of it up with whatever you like. So go and have a look. Whether you use MyFitnessPal or not, just go online and you can type in your weight and how active you are, and you'll get loads of options of different websites to do this, but it'll tell you kind of an idea of calories to maintain weight. So for me, when I'm training and out in the mountains and stuff, 3,300 is what I need. So I need to top that up with other stuff. Whether, I don't take puddings of these, but you can get puddings of these things. But for me, it's just topping up with stuff like, as I've said, the apricots, the Oreos, those kind of things, and it's really easy to get up to 3.3. I said earlier that I kind of realised I wasn't having enough fuel when I'm training and stuff like that. I was massively low. And actually, that then started me thinking about it for MLs and stuff like that, just a daily thing, but it trickles into the ML courses. And then actually thinking about how many calories I'm having on those expeditions, I felt so much better. That first expedition of giving a bit more thought to what I was eating in terms of those calories, I just felt like I had so much more energy. I really did. There's loads of other options for getting calories. You can make your own meals and take them with you, and you can even make them into like boil in the bag kind of things, which tend to be heavy. You can get your own dehydrators. You can make your own lightweight food. Great. You can just take stuff off the Tesco shelf. There's a world of options out there, isn't it? For me, it's just got to tick those boxes of having enough calories, being nice enough to eat, obviously, but being light as well. Dehydrated type stuff. One of these might be freeze. I think that's freeze dries, and I think this is dehydrated. One's supposed to taste nicer than the other. I don't know which is which. And you can tell I can't really taste the difference. Plus, this comes in powdered form, and you can just scoop up your water from wherever and purify it if you want to purify it. But it's light, and that's absolutely key. Just gives me a happier time. I've said about hot drinks, so I tend to take those, either buy those sachets of like Cadbury's hot chocolate type stuff that you just add water to, or to be honest, what I actually do is I buy a tub of it at home and then just make up little foil packets that makes me look like a drug dealer or something, and then I can just add those as I go as well for breakfast and dinner time as well. Think about on your mountain lead that you have got to be on it for when it comes to assessment, 3 days really. So make sure you've got enough food, make sure you look after yourself, or silly little things like making sure you take all the litter with you and don't let that fly around the campsite, all those bits and pieces. But give yourself something that you like and you look forward to, and do think about the fact of going out for night nav. So I like to have my sort of main meal before night nav, and then when I come back I'll have a snack of maybe some Oreo biscuits or something like that, and then probably a hot drink before bed, just to get that kind of core temperature raised up before drifting off to sleep, and it obviously gradually just goes down overnight. So I hope that was useful. I'd say in the comments, please do let me know your little top tips, because there's always stuff to be learnt, isn't there? So tell me what your top tips are, and equally fire away with any questions as well. I've put links in the description below to those. Like I say, they are expensive, but they are light and they are tasty. That's why I use them. Thanks very much for watching. As I said, do find us on Insta and find us on Facebook. You know the score with that. I'm massively appreciative of all you guys still tuning in and stuff. I'm psyched. Wales could well be opening up in 2 weeks or whatever it is from this video, which will be great, and I can get back to my regular out there work, but I'm still going to keep doing the videos because I'm just really enjoying them. But as I said, honestly, massively appreciated that you're all just tuning in. It's great. Thanks very much for watching. More videos coming up very soon.